All right. Hello and welcome back to Borderline FPL, the podcast that constantly crosses the line between FPL advice and Premier League banter. My name is Chris.
My name is Ben, and after another week hiatus and some double game week, there has been not a ton of movement at the top of the table, but more so the bottom of the table is what draws me into. Well, I probably want to start the conversation there today, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you want to pull up the table, we can get a look at it, but it's the bottom of the table that's really, really intriguing to me with Everton slipping into the relegation picture following Burnley's win over Wolves and Everton losing again at the weekend.
Yeah.
So Everton, yes, have the game in hand, and they're only 2 points off, but we have to keep in mind that game in hand is next week against Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Not likely. Um, and it's Leeds that are kind of pulling away. They're not fully safe yet. They're not fully safe yet, but they are pulling
No.
away. I think that they're going to be just fine. Um, but Burnley, no Sean Dyche,
Yeah. Well, we
no
didn't
real.
pod the week that he got sacked.
I
So.
know he literally got sacked. I think hours after our recording, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Um, no Sean Dyche and apparently no worries as they went and picked up a massive 3 points to pull them out of that relegation picture. It looks to be all set in stone for Watford and Norwich, surely, right? It's all they're done, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's just no coming back, unless Watford were to like literally win out, but that's
Yeah.
just not gonna happen. So.
Well, this weekend's game with them and Burnley is a huge one for them if they want to have any chance of staying in the Premier League. You have to think that they're going to want to get 3 points,
Yeah,
no
they
doubt.
would have to beat Burnley there, but
They have
I
to.
just don't see it happening.
No.
I think they're done. I think it's between Everton, Burnley, and Leeds. I don't think Leeds is out of it yet. Honestly, not
Mhm.
enough is being said about how poor Villa have been.
Yeah.
Like 15th, bro. They're literally 3 points
Well,
off of Leeds, who are in a relegation
look
fight.
at their form. Look at their form.
Yeah,
Loss, draw.
yeah.
So,
It's
and they
just
have
bad.
Norwich next. So, if there's ever a time for Norwich to play Villa, it definitely seems to be right now when they're in this form. If they want any hope of staying up,
Yeah. Well, on top of that, obviously Gerard won't be getting Klopp's job anytime soon because he just signed a new 2-year contract deal till
yeah. So,
2026 today.
seems
So
like Stevie G is stuck at Villa for the time being, and if he does want Klopp's job in
he's gonna have to do
2026, he's gonna
much
have to do a
better.
lot better. He's gonna have to do a
Yeah,
lot better than
a
this, bro.
lot better.
He's gonna have to do a lot better than this.
Yeah,
But
well, it's crazy because I think there was so much controversy around the Deitch dismissal because
mm,
everyone, I think everybody that understands football and especially the Premier League understands that Deitch has overperformed given his budget for the last
what
6
budget?
years.
Like truly, what
Exactly.
budget? He doesn't have a budget.
The
He
fact
doesn't have
they
one.
haven't been in a relegation battle for years on end at this point is a miracle of its in and of itself.
No,
So
he's the English Diego Simeone. Like literally, he just plays defensive football, smash mouth football, and somehow keeps alive. Isn't Ben Mee the caretaker manager right now, the center back?
technically, it's been me, and I'm forgetting the other guy's name who's really
Like
doing most of the
the
tactical
assistant?
things.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting to say the least
If they
because
somehow stay up, that's insane.
I saw someone tweet that like Sean Deitch basically deserved to bring them down, at that
Hmm.
point, which I don't know. Do you follow that logic or are you like, nah,
No,
like, okay.
no, I don't agree with that. Like I think that he should have stayed with the club. I think he's a terrific manager. I think that give him any budget and he's not in these relegation fights. I don't think he deserved to be sacked based off of what he'd done for the club for so long and how little of the season they had left.
Yeah.
And do I think that he could have gone last week and smashed out a 1-0 victory over Wolves? I believe it was. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it a million times with him. A
Hmm.
million times I've seen him do that.
Yeah,
So,
they do look slightly more attacking though, and a little bit more free flowing, which you would expect because, like you
yeah.
said, Deitch is such a defensive manager. But um, interesting times for Burnley. This relegation fight and top four and the title are all gonna go down to the
Oh yeah, no,
wire. Like they
we
could
can
all
move
be
up the table
decided in
now.
game week 38. Literally every single one of
Oh, I think
those.
they will. I think
Yeah,
we can move up the table now. I think especially at the very top,
yeah.
those last two, I don't see either team losing again between City and Liverpool. I think Liverpool's toughest game left is Tottenham, and Man City's toughest game left is West Ham, I believe.
Hmm.
But that could also be West Ham coming off of another European semifinal. They lost the first leg today for those who are following to Eintracht Frankfurt 2-1. Very unlucky to do so. Bowen hit the post twice, including the not goal of the year at the very end of the game, a bicycle kick, which was just insane. Very lucky to for Frankfurt fans to see that one not hit the back of the net, hit the crossbar instead. Um, but yeah, Man City definitely have a very generous schedule towards the end of the season, but they're obviously also focused on their semifinal. They beat Real Madrid 4-3 in what was arguably the game of the year.
Crazy. I didn't watch it. I need to go back
Oh
and
my
watch the
God,
highlights.
it was incredible. Tuesday night, they should have. I know they won 4-3, and you're thinking, oh, 4 goals against Madrid, that's terrific. They could have had 8. I'm not even exaggerating.
Mhm.
Mahrez could not hit water if he fell out of a boat that night. Should have at least had 2. Hit the post a couple times. Foden could have had another one. They just should have scored a lot more goals, to be quite
Speaking of
honest.
water falling out of a boat, Kai Havertz tonight.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get. Yeah, I know you're pissed.
Dude,
He
I'm
is my
so
captain
mad
too.
about it.
Yeah, he was my
Anyways,
captain
but yeah,
too, but we'll
I
get
think
there.
I would still say though, and I don't know if you would agree with that. I think Man City are more prone to trip up against lesser teams than Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
So it's completely not finished. Now, do I think the likelihood is that City wins out? Yeah, probably. But I could also see them drawing a lesser side. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I could also see Liverpool doing that honestly against Spurs. Spurs just like
mm-mm,
smashing them on the counter or something. I could see it. It's kind of
I
like what
don't know.
Everton did, but Everton don't have the ability to counter as well as Spurs do. Everton kept that game 0-0 for about what 60, 70 minutes,
Yeah,
and they had their counter-attacking chances, but now replace Anthony Gordon, take nothing away from him, he's a great player, but replace him with the Heung-min Son and Harry Kane running at you, it's a lot scarier. It's a lot more likely to end
yeah,
in the back of
true.
the
But I
net.
mean, typically Liverpool smash Spurs. Like Spurs
Yeah,
have this voodoo whatever's going on against City, but Liverpool don't usually take care of business against them, and
it's
we
crazy
quite
to
frankly
think.
need them to. So hopefully they do.
Imagine if City had just beat Spurs twice. Like literally, Spurs would be on 52 points with West Ham, and City would be 86 clearing away.
Yeah.
Season over for
Well, I
them, and it
mean,
would
we
be
could
us.
we could say ifs all day,
Yeah, if buts
even
and
us as
maybes. But
well.
that one's just the most obvious one to me is them not
Those
losing once but twice to
Yeah,
Spurs.
those
Spurs getting
three
6
L's
points
in our form arguably should have all been W's, and we wouldn't
or
even be
draws
talking
or
about top four
something.
right
Yeah,
now. Honestly,
yeah.
we would be in third place right now, Ben.
No, I know we'd be in third place by 3 points if we had turned those around. But I mean, we bounced back and we beat Chelsea and United in a week, which is incredible.
True,
So
true,
as
true, true.
we can go through the games. Let's go through the games.
Yeah. I will bring that up in a second. Let me actually, I'll just go back to this and then bring it up this way. So looking at the fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let me just go to fantasy real quick and then put up fixtures because for whatever reason it does it better that way.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Bringing up Arsenal versus Man United,
wow,
first game
wow,
that we get to
wow,
talk about.
wow, wow. I mean, look, the best Portuguese player in the world scored this game.
Nuno Tavares.
Nuno Tavares. That's exactly right. 3 minutes in, probably one of the best finishes you'll see all year, to be quite honest with you. Saka gets a shot in. De Gea can't handle it. It's just too powerful. And who's there at the back post to clean up? Probably the best poacher in world football.
You're so corny, bro. Oh my god. No, but I mean, what a
we.
performance from the lads in this
I'll say
game.
this. I'll say this. I disagree. I don't think we played that well.
That's true.
I truly don't. I really like. I think the first 15 minutes we're up 2-0, right?
Mhm.
Brilliant football. We're dominating them. Chances flying in. We could have had more, right? And Ketia should have had a goal off that Odegaard flick. Saka scored a penalty. Tavares scored the early goal. We could have had more. We didn't play well. After that, when Ronaldo scored after we just went up 2-0, I think that's really poor by Ramsdale to not come claim that in a 6-yard box. I think it's even worse by Gabriel to not just muscle Ronaldo out and kind of let him sneak in there.
Mhm.
But until the Xhaka goal, they were
It
all
was
over
nervy.
us.
Yeah, it was nervy for sure.
Bruno had a penalty and he hit the post. Ramsdale, so shameless, celebrated in his face. So shameless by my goalkeeper. I love that.
Yeah, that was
Um,
ridiculous.
that was so unnecessary, but I love it.
That's like the soccer equivalent of when corners get in receivers'
Oh
faces
yeah,
like
yeah,
this after they
like a
do nothing
quarterback
whatsoever.
overthrows him by 10 yards and they just walk over and like signal incomplete as if they did something after they got burnt, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Guess Rendell was sent the wrong way too. He didn't even guess the right
Yeah,
way.
he wasn't even close.
Just went straight to the right.
Hey, they're
Um,
rattled though. It doesn't matter. Rams
but
go.
they were outplaying us for the majority of that second half. I don't think we played a good game. We got bailed out by a screamer from who else but the GOAT himself,
He
Granit
saved it.
Xhaka.
He saved it for the good game. We needed
He
that.
always does it. He always does it against United. He loves scoring against United. I don't know why, but he scores against them every year. He finds a way.
Yeah.
Banger of a shot by him. And then once we brought on the security blanket with Rob Holding, it was over. It was done.
Dude, do you think teams just like instantly just start crying when they see
Well,
Rob
that's the
Holding
funny
come
thing
on
to
the
me
field?
is this like we've been doing this Rob Holding low block 5-2-3, 5-3-2 rotation for a while when we need to see out games. No one's figured it out.
No one has scored on us when we bring on Rob.
No one has scored when we bring on Rob Holding. And Rob Holding also, I think he started against Chelsea too.
Yeah.
And yes, they scored a couple, but we weren't in the low block. But when we go from the 4 back to the 5 back with Rob Holding, I don't think we've conceded a goal all year.
No, we literally have not. We haven't.
It's kind of insane that no team has been able to figure out Rob Holdini. Like that is like the true, like that's like the true like prize measure of the Premier League is no one can cry. Everyone's like about the best center backs like Thiago Silva, on Van. And there's Rob Holding coming out of 5 at the back that just no one can find a way to break
when
down.
Rob comes on the field and holds up 5,
yeah,
you know
like,
the game's
5,
done.
3,
It's done.
5, 3,
it's done.
2, it's over. It's literally over.
Facts.
But I mean, brilliant result from us, especially with missing a lot of first team players, specifically Thomas Partey. We're having El Neni come in and play that role, best Egyptian in the Premier League.
He's been brilliant filling in.
He has.
He really has. He's
been nothing shy of terrific.
In my eyes, absolutely has earned himself an extension for his contract.
I'm not opposed. It's low wages, and he's happy to be a 5th choice center mid, so why not?
Exactly. That's my point.
So I got nothing against that. But
yeah, I mean, other, FPL-wise, things to talk about. Saka is almost a must-have at this point since he's on pens with Laka out. I think, he's absolutely the best value midfielder in the game right now, without question. There's nobody with better value. Savage, you wouldn't really be bringing in. Ronaldo. Ronaldo is, after this game week, it's pretty much you're not going to want him in your team anymore. Because I'm pretty sure they do not have a double game week in 36. They don't have any double game weeks left.
They have 3 games left?
Yeah.
Literally, they have 3. They played 35. They have
any United assets are off the table at this point. They're all sells. Arsenal, I would be leaning more towards offensive players more so than
I think
defensive
Nketiah
players.
has banging value.
He has great value.
5'5", 5'4".
He's 5'5" now. I think he rose in price.
I think he went up. I got him at 5'4", but yeah.
The only worry there is, will Lacazette come back into the team at all? I still think there's a chance. I think obviously Nketiah has earned his position, but it would not shock me in maybe our double game week if Eddie got one game and Laka got the other. That's all I'm going to say.
Maybe I could see it if it's a home game against Leeds or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. That being said, we've had Lacazette for how many years? Has he ever gone to Chelsea and scored a brace? Has he ever put in the work rate that Eddie did ever? Genuinely?
No, don't get me wrong. I think Eddie deserves a spot. I'm just saying that you should know that if you're going for Eddie in FPL, that there is a slight chance that he gets benched for Laka in a one-off game. It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, but for a 5.4 to grab Arsenal starting number 9.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's brilliant. Especially he's popped. It makes me upset, honestly, and jealous that he's popped up at such a brilliant time for bench boosters that plan on bench boosting. And we'll get into chip strategy later on. Mm-hmm. But if you plan on bench boosting, Eddie has to be in your team pretty much. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned. But we'll move on from this game. Good win for the boys. We needed those 3 points. We won't dwell long on this one. Leicester 0, Villa 0.
One thing I will say about this is, for those that don't know, Leicester played a European semifinals today against Jose Mourinho's Roma. Roma took an early lead. Leicester knocked back with Lookman scoring the goal. For the fantasy assets, I believe Maddison and Vardy both started. Harvey Barnes came on but did not start, which could lead to him potentially starting against Tottenham this weekend. Leicester obviously still have a ton of games left to play in the Premier League. Those are the main options, but obviously it gets complicated with those European fixtures. Mm-hmm. Will they be playing against in a final after this? We don't know. It was really 1-1. So the whole tie is up in the air.
Yeah.
That's all I'm really going to say. Villa have a really good game week 37. I'll let you touch on that real quick.
Well, they have a double-double coming up. They have a double in 36 and they have a double in 37. If you don't have a free hit left and you plan on bench boosting, or even if you don't plan on bench boosting, you should probably be looking in to bring in 1, maybe 2 Villa players.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, their form has been disgusting, abysmal recently.
Oh yeah,
It's been
no,
terrible.
they haven't won a game in their last 5.
However, their next 4 games, well, even 5 if you include this upcoming game week 35, that's a single game weeker. They play Norwich at home. So their next 5 games are Norwich at home, Burnley away, Villa at home, Liverpool at home, Palace at home, Burnley at home. So 4 out of their next 5 games are home matches. And 4 out of their next 5 games are against Norwich, Burnley twice, and Palace. The only difficult game in that mix is Liverpool. So,
yeah. Well, that's a very difficult game, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if you're bringing in, my top picks from Villa would be Matty Cash, Coutinho, Jacob Ramsey if you need a budget midfielder to bench boost with, and Watkins, maybe Ings if you're feeling a bit riskier. I still think Ings has the higher ceiling, but Watkins has been getting more starts and minutes recently, really all season, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think they're options that you should be looking at for sure.
Love that.
And
Love that.
I will probably be looking to bring in a Aston Villa player at the very least going into game week 27. I may even bring in one this week if I'm feeling froggy. So
fair enough.
Leicester, I think they're going to continue to be rotation risks, especially the assets in FPL that you want, i.e. the Maddison,
The
and the
Barnes, the Vardy, yeah.
I wouldn't touch Vardy with a 79.5 foot pole.
Not 80. You would with an 80 though. You would with an 80 foot pole.
What is, that's the lyric in Grinch, right? I don't know, something like that.
Brother,
I don't.
This one's on you.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know. You started this one. I do not know how to finish it.
Hey, you commented on it.
Just kind of gonna let you go.
Anyways, yeah, I wouldn't touch Vardy in FPL just because they're gonna save him for Europa 100%. I don't think he'll play any minutes in the league for the rest of the season.
Second leg against Roma a week from today. I believe that game was in Roma too, so they'll be at home for the second leg.
Yeah. So I think Schmeichel is probably the best goalkeeper to have for the rest of the season because he has a double-double. I mean, you could make a case for your boy Emi Martinez as well, to be honest. But Schmeichel has a double-double in 36 and 37 as well, should play all the minutes. And Barnes and Maddison are a toss-up. But so are the likes of
Lookman?
I was going to say Chelsea midfielders for the rest of the season could get heavily rotated.
They don't have
preparing for the FA Cup match.
FA Cup final, but that'll be done. I mean, they're going to rotate their guys, but they're 6 points clear of 4th place, which is us right now. They have 5 games left. None of them are against teams above them in the table anymore. I know it's not Liverpool City, but there's no one in the top 6 that they're playing anymore.
Yeah.
Because that was their tough last Big 6 game against United. So, I could easily see them rotating, but I think Tuchel wants to finish strong. I don't think he's happy with the team's form at the moment. Kind of can tell he's pissed and they're losing Rudiger. So I think Rudiger might get rotated a lot just as they prepare for life after him. For those that don't know, he has agreed to a contract with Real Madrid. Yeah. So he'll be gone at the end of the year, along with Christensen will also be leaving at the end of the year. So I think we could be seeing a lot of minutes for Thiago Silva. I think we could be seeing a lot of minutes for Malang Sarr. I think Alonso is pretty much a lock. Reece James, Azpilicueta.
We'll get there when we talk about Chelsea. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all I had to say on Leicester and Villa. You got anything else to add?
No, we're good. We can move on from the 0-0.
Okay, 5-1 City to Watford. Golly, man, he heard Arsenal come knocking, and he wanted to say.
Yeah, no, you get linked to Arsenal, you apparently ball out, which is crazy. I've heard Iheanacho has been linked to Arsenal a lot this week. That's insane that I just keep hearing Kelechi's name being brought up at Arsenal camp. So I guess he's due for a baller. I guess he's due for a baller week against Spurs this week is what I mean. Okay. So yeah, no, mind games.
I see where you're going there.
Mind games. But yeah, I mean, good God. And then he followed up with a goal in the Champions League too. Literally, he scored the second goal.
Well, so fun fact, Gabriel Jesus in this game scored the highest amount of BPS ever recorded in FPL on 128.
Good God. Yeah, because he had the assist too for Rodri's goal.
He had 4 goals and an assist.
Yeah, literally.
Unreal.
Yeah, literally.
Anyone, if you punted on him, congratulations. I know a lot of people were bringing in City assets this week because they do typically just smack up Watford.
Yeah, they
Like
always
thinking
do.
back to the 8-0 and everything like that. 5 goals against Watford is almost commonplace for them at this point.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people went for like Sterling, which, gosh, that's a bummer, man, if you
That's a
did, because
huge investment. It's a massive investment.
and you would have thought if they scored
Oh,
5
they scored
goals,
five. Surely,
he's
surely
involved in
Raheem's
at
involved,
least one
right?
of them.
No, Jesus with 4 and Rodri with a screamer.
Yeah, I think De Bruyne is going to constantly tick along for the rest of the season, and nobody's going to have them in their team because
Mm-hmm.
they just can't afford him, which makes me
Mm-hmm.
want to bring him in, and I'm thinking about it.
It's bold. I mean, but the thing, but you have to also consider they have Real Madrid. They're up 1, so
Yeah,
all things considered, and like off the balance of play, they were the better team. They
and
should go through
that's what's
the
kind of
final.
holding me up.
They
Then
should
again,
be the ones to go
are
through,
they
but you
gonna
never
fin?
know.
When is their Champions League? Their next
It's
Champions League
after
fixture?
it's next Wednesday. They play
Next
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So it'll be before their double game week in 36.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if they beat Madrid, yes, they are playing in Madrid. Yes, they only have a 1 goal advantage, and there's no away goals rule. They're It's tough because he's gonna want to play him because of the league, but like Pep's been winning leagues left and right? Like surely he would want to kind of rest him and think he might be able to get away with resting him every now and
Maybe,
then for a
but he's
Champions
been
League
in
final.
he's started every game for them, even in the midst of the semifinals. So
Yeah, I know. It's just tough. It's weird because it's Pep rotation, but now it's like Pep rotation on crack because they're about to go to a Champions League final potentially.
yeah,
So it's crazy. It's insane.
yeah. I mean, as always, massive risk reward for City midfielders.
Mm,
So there's nothing new there. Kamara wiping out the clean sheet for City was annoying, especially for
that
me who
sucks.
brought in Cancelo this week.
Yeah.
But I think the City midfielders I would be targeting for the rest of the season are between De Bruyne and Foden. Foden got his rest in this game, which makes me think he will probably start a majority of their league games
He
for the rest of the
did
season.
start the Champions League as well. I
Yeah.
think Pep kind of sees him
Well,
as his left winger there.
yeah. I mean, I think it's very obvious that he is in the first choice 11 for Pep.
Yeah.
And, he is one of the younger guys, hasn't had a whole lot of injuries in his life, so it's like when he's fit, Pep's playing him for the most part.
Yeah.
I think this was the targeted match that Pep was like, I'm going to rest you in this game, and then
Well, yeah,
you're
with the
playing from here
semifinal
on
coming
out.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he's actually a good pick for FPL for the rest of the season. I really do.
Mm.
Cancelo is a brilliant pick, especially obviously because he missed the first leg of the Champions League due to suspension.
Mm-hmm.
So with all their injuries in defense as well, he's going to start pretty much every game in the Premier League. Kyle Walker's still injured. Stones apparently came off in the Champions League
Stones
game
was injured.
with an
He was
injury.
injured. Yeah.
And
So I think Laporte is going to be a first
yeah,
name on the team sheet.
Laporte's nailed on.
I think Laporte. I think we could see more of Zinchenko potentially in the Premier League, which is
which
scary
mean
for Cancelo.
which means Cancelo's probably playing on the right.
Yeah. Or well, Walker's still injured, isn't he?
Yeah,
Do we know the duration of that?
not necessarily.
Yeah. So I think we could see Cancelo on the right, which is where he used to play for Juve, and
Yeah, he
before
can do
then
either one.
he can do either because I think Zinchenko isn't a bad budget pick, to be honest. With the City defense, I think that if he starts at left back, he's also very attacking. I mean, you see here he got an assist, and in the Champions League, he was pushing up constantly.
Yeah.
So I think that's also just kind of be the left back role that Pep wants his left back to play, is very kind of like secondary midfielder.
Yep.
So I think that he's a very good punt on a budget if you're looking for one.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I don't know if anybody would be willing to take that risk with Zinchenko because he's not necessarily nailed, but
Yeah.
not a horrible pick for sure. I mean, the thing about Jesus is I think you've probably missed the boat as an FPL
Yeah.
asset.
Oh yeah.
But congrats if you went for it because that's
If you
awesome.
somehow had Jesus, good God, you raked.
All right, let's move on from that. Newcastle 3, Norwich 0. Newcastle continued to just get results, Ben.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy what
Eddie
95
Howe,
million.
manager of the year or no?
God no, come on. Come on.
Really?
Of
I
the
don't know.
year? Of the year.
Of the season.
No,
Yeah.
he's been here half a season. No, it's
Exactly.
Pep.
But look at what he's done.
Yeah, it's crazy what 95 million can do to a relegation threatened club,
Okay,
isn't it?
yes, but let's
Go
think.
go give Burnley and Sean Dyche 100 million pounds and tell me he wouldn't be doing what Newcastle's doing.
I don't know.
Give him 100 million pounds.
I don't know, man. Okay,
Oh my
granted, yes,
God. I can't. Yeah.
okay, I understand the budget thing,
Come
but
on.
still,
Come on.
from being 19th
Mhm.
to going up to ninth,
Yeah.
10
No, it's
places.
incredible. I'm not taking away, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that he's been given $100 million budget in January, not even the summer,
All
in
right,
January.
who is manager of the
It's
season for you?
Pep. It's Pep.
Pep?
It's always Pep. It's always been Pep. I told you before the season started on
I
our
mean,
first pod.
we gotta see how the season shakes out. I mean, if
It
Liverpool
should be
end up
Pep.
winning the quadruple this
Triple,
year, I
then it's
think we'll
Klopp. Then it's
obviously,
Klopp. Yeah, then it's
yeah.
Klopp, right? I'll eat my words. I still think City win the title, so I'm speaking as if they will. Um, but no, I still think it's Pep. I think it's Pep. I think Klopp is terrific, but I think if Pep wins the league, it's Pep.
Fair enough.
I can't give manager of the year to someone
Um,
else.
Newcastle and Norwich FPL perspective, pretty much none. The only thing
Bruno G though.
yeah, I mean, almost came to Arsenal. Kind
I
of,
wish he did.
yeah,
He's a Champions League quality midfielder. I was livid that. Well, you see, like what I see funny is all the time. It's not funny, but because I guess it's the new normal. But every time us and United are linked to a player, it's like interest from the Premier League from Arsenal, Manchester United, and Newcastle. And
yeah.
I'm like, damn, like that's a wild, like, right? Because like it's just new to get used to. Like, oh yeah, they're rich as right now,
Yeah,
right?
I mean
Like,
they can buy for
yeah.
sure. They got the spending power. So
So yeah.
I think well, I know you're not super invested in the FPL community, but as from FPL Black Box, which is a podcast I listen to all the time,
Mhm.
um he and Mark Southerns, who's noted as like the FPL father almost.
Mhm.
He's like the first person to ever start like FPL content.
Mhm.
So he and Az have a podcast together called FPL Black Box. You should look it up. I recommend it. And
Mhm.
they go into depth on statistic. They're statistic based and they have a lot of fun and everything like that. So Az is having an insane season. He's top 1K in the world right now.
Jesus Christ.
Um,
Is he a Bruno G?
he for their double game week in
Mhm.
34
When he scored a brace.
when he scored a brace and then got an assist in their second game,
Mhm.
brought in Bruno G and captained him.
Wow, legend.
Like
Legend.
that
Legend.
is FPL dreams right there. That is
Legend.
unreal, actually.
He's been terrific. And like the goal he got against Norwich too wasn't even like a great goal. Norwich had a sloppy back pass. He grabbed it and chipped it.
Yeah.
Um, but he's getting results.
Mhm.
He's getting you play either way. You don't care if you're a Bruno G owner. You don't care. You care they put the ball in the net. You don't care how he did it.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
I
but
think
that's
Newcastle
insane.
assets are, off pretty much off the table for the rest of the season. They're in a sell zone. They have Liverpool, City, us, and then Burnley to finish up, but no doubles left. So if you have any Newcastle players, they're sell.
Mhm.
Norwich, the only thing I'll say is they have a double in game week 36. So maybe a Pookie on bench boost if you're going for like a cheap front line. I
Mhm.
think he's completely viable. But other than that, there's nothing else to talk about for these teams for FPL for the rest of the season. Literally, like we can just
Yeah.
skip over them.
No, I think
Um,
Norwich are done.
it's yeah. I mean,
Oh,
I think they're done as well. But
brilliant result from the Bees for us here. Spurs have not had a shot on target in over 200 minutes of Premier League football.
yeah, dude,
Concerned.
they
Kane
were
owner.
scoring for fun,
You're a
and
Kane
then
owner.
yeah.
Concerned.
Well, I mean, I sold Sun this week,
Okay, I did too.
um, as a part to bring in double Chelsea midfield
Mhm.
and Cancelo.
Mhm.
I took a -4. I had 2 frees, and we'll go over those results later. But I think, you know, I think we need to take these results as they are. Brentford away is a tough match.
Mhm.
And then their other game was what? Brighton, right?
Yeah.
And Brighton are a good team.
And
So,
Brighton won it super, super late.
yeah. So I'm not panicking per se. I had the double up of Kane and Son. I think this week in particular against Leicester, who are probably going to rotate heavily
Mhm.
for their second leg of Europa Conference League,
Mhm.
I think Spurs bounce back this week for sure. And I think both Son and Kane are captaincy options this week.
Yeah, I could
I
see that.
I
Logically, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you need to have both. I mean, I think if you have like one and then Kulusevski still, that's probably fine. They do have a double in 36. They don't in 37. Their double in 36 is difficult. It's literally us and Liverpool.
Pool. Yeah.
Kane does tend to score on us against. I mean, he just always
At
has
home, yeah.
in London derbies. So I don't plan on selling Kane, especially because
Mhm.
I probably will captain him this week because I need to go a little bit differential if I want to win the league. And I know,
Mhm.
I know I'm pretty mini league focused, obviously, but obviously I care about my overall rank. I think Kane is a good captaincy option regardless, but I also know that my rival in the league won't have Kane, so it's an opportunity for
Mhm.
me to hopefully
Steal
gain some
points, yeah.
points. Um, yeah, I mean, what do you think? I think they'll bounce back this game, and I think it'll
I
be
think
really
they could
close.
bounce back. I definitely could see that, but also I don't forget the way that they beat Leicester earlier this season with the 2 goals in the last like 90 seconds. I don't
Yeah,
think Leicester will soon forget that either, and I think they'll be eager for revenge. I don't think this will be an easy cakewalk for Spurs. I think it could turn into one potentially, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game for them. I think they're going to have to fight for it. I think Leicester are going to be scrappy. I think they're going to be upset at the way it ended last time. And I can see
really.
Spurs being in a dogfight.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think the exact opposite. I think this will be a
Yeah,
cakewalk for Spurs. I really do.
maybe.
I don't think Leicester care about the league anymore for the rest of the season. They're full on in the conference trying to win a trophy,
Mm-hmm.
and Kane actually has the best record out of any other like against any team. Leicester is the team that he scores on the most in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think Spurs win this like 3-1, maybe
I
three
don't
nil.
know. We'll
Um,
see. We'll see. They do have a good record against Leicester.
Yeah, so I think Spurs players are a hold certainly for this week. I wouldn't be selling. Um, if you have multiple, I don't know if I would want. I would probably just want one asset from Spurs for the double in 36. Pick
Mm-hmm.
Son or Kane and stick with them and just
Mm-hmm.
go about your business. Would probably be my. I mean, if you have Kulu, that he's fine. But I don't think I think there's probably better midfield assets than Kulusevski for the double in 36 personally. That's more of the reason why I'm holding Kane because I think the forward options are trash, and
Mm-hmm.
I think there's so many midfield options in FPL,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the doubles coming up in 36 and 37. So that's why I was like, if I have to choose between Kane and Son, even though I think Son might slightly be the better FPL asset, the opportunity cost between selling Kane and selling Son is much higher. So I
Mm-hmm.
would rather sell Son, use the money to bring in another good midfielder, and then have Kane, who, although they've blanked in the last 2 games, I think will bounce back and will probably finish as the highest point scoring forward in FPL this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thoughts on Spurs.
Yeah,
It's going to come down to the wire between us and them for
it's gonna
sure.
come. It's gonna come down to that North London derby.
Yeah, that
It
game's gonna
really
be
is.
it's gonna be wild. It is gonna
Yeah.
be wild, and it does suck that they have home advantage for that, but
Whatever. Whatever.
we'll see how it goes. Brighton 2, Southampton 2. Of course, this is the game that Ward Prowse gets
The
his
free kick.
his brace from free kicks, bro.
The free kick. Well, the second one was a free kick. It was just a smash, but um, yeah, Southampton did not deserve anything from this game, to be quite honest. Brighton were the better team, and
Yeah,
it was just world prowess magic that got them a point. Now that it's relevant, both these teams are safe in the middle of the table. They're not going anywhere. They're not going down. They're not going up. They're not going to Europe. It's safe.
yeah,
But I think Brighton were far and away the better team. It's always good to see Welbeck still on the score sheet. Makes me happy to see
that
him and his
guy.
career still going. Love him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there aren't any assets I want from either team from an FPL
Yep.
perspective.
Brighton
Livermore is hurt for
have
the season, so even his cheap option's done.
yeah. Brighton have no doubles. Southampton have no doubles left. They're pretty much
I have no interest in
no
either of
interest
these
for
teams.
FPL.
Yeah.
What team do you think wins the most free kicks in the attacking half? City?
Um, Probably Pool.
Imagine if Ward Prowse went to Liverpool, bro.
Oh, well, he's gonna if he keeps going for his he's gonna set the record in the Premier League depending on how long he plays from those free kick goals.
Yeah.
He's like up there, like the names that he's mentioned with on that are like Rooney and stuff. It's insane.
And
It's just
Beckham,
like,
right?
yeah, it's like Beckham, Rooney, James Ward-Prowse. Like it's insane, right?
Yeah.
Um, he's terrific at what he does. We'll see if he makes the England World Cup squad this December because I think he's more than just a set piece specialist. I think he's all around a very good midfielder.
Yeah. I mean, I
We'll
agree with
see.
you, but obviously he's
He was one of
probably
the
the
names.
best free kick taker in the Premier League, I would say
Oh
for sure.
yeah. Oh,
Which
absolutely.
would
I remember.
honestly put him up there with best in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he is. I remember when Villa got all that Grealish money, he was one of the names that they were desperately trying to steal
Mm-hmm.
from Southampton was James Ward-Prowse. I think he would have been a great addition to their midfield, but
Cool. All right, let's move on. Burnley get the win, 1-0 against Wolves. Wolves have been disappointing recently, to be honest.
I just feel like they've given up. I feel like they've given up for lack of a better term. Like they know they're not. They were a team that was competing for top four. Remember when we played them? They were in like fifth, and we were in sixth, and we were right there. Like it was point by point for us and them.
Yeah.
And everyone was thinking they could make a run at top four. They could be in the Europa League. They could be in Conference League, and they have just fallen so far.
Mm-hmm.
A team that was so sound defensively, giving up goals like this, and not. I know it's a 1-goal game, but offensively, they're not generating. They had, I believe, Jimenez is back fully, and he's playing this game.
Yeah.
They're just not creating anything. They're out of ideas. They're lacking something. Maybe it's Adama Traore, who knows? But they're lacking that offensive firepower. They're lacking that defensive pride that they showed so much of this season. I do think that probably one of the goalkeepers of the year is still Jose Sa. I think he's nothing short of terrific for them this season. He's an outstanding goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But this game obviously mattered a lot more to the victors, and that would be Burnley.
Mm-hmm.
Jumping out of the relegation zone, yes, Everton have a game in hand. Do I think they capitalize on it against Chelsea? No. But that's massive for Burnley. To stay in the Premier League, all they've been through, the manager change, the lack of money spent. Cornet was injured, losing your star striker to Newcastle, like literally getting your star striker bought off of you from a release clause by a direct Premier League relegation rival. If they somehow manage to still stay up in the Premier League this year, it's beyond an insanely good job by the club. It's insane. It's insane.
I hope they do. I really
hope they do. I called them
to go down.
I called them to stay up a while ago, pods ago. But that was when they had Dyche.
You know, FPL wise, I said a while ago, Burnley keep clean sheets, you know, even when you don't expect them to. This would have been one that you maybe would have expected them to, but Pope is expensive in FPL, so you probably don't have him. But I think if you're bench boosting, a Burnley defender is probably still I think, let me check. I'm pretty sure they have a double still. Do they not? Actually, they might not. Yeah, no, they have a double in 37.
Do, right?
Yeah. Which is Tottenham away and Villa away. So
tough.
They're going to be fighting for it. It's not necessarily the best fixtures for their double.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, you know, maybe investing in a cheaper defender, a Charlie Taylor or a Roberts isn't necessarily the worst thing that you could do with your money if you need something like that. Wolves are in a void for the rest of the season in FPL. No interest.
Yeah. No, we can skip that.
All right. Chelsea won. West Ham, no.
West Ham were so unlucky this game. They're rotating heavily. They battered down the hatches, and it was Pulisic at the very end in the 90th minute that stole 3 points for Chelsea. 3 points that they kind of needed. They kind of need for their confidence right now. Obviously, being out of winning the Champions League to not making the semis is tough. Mm-hmm. West Ham, for me, is in a void for the rest of the year, at least the rest of their European year. I mentioned earlier on the pod, they are still in a semifinal. They lost 2-1 today. On XG, they should have won the game by over. So now they have to go to Frankfurt in the second leg, but they're going to be heavily rotated against Arsenal.
Yep.
Zuma played today, their only fit center back, and got injured. I don't expect to see him on Sunday.
Did he really?
Yes, he was limping off the pitch at the end. Rice played the full 90. Antonio played the full 90. Bowen played the full 90. Benrahma came on as a sub. Mm-hmm. Johnson played the full 90. Creswell played the full 90. Fabianski did not start. It was Areola in that, as he typically is for the European games.
I'm surprised they haven't swapped him for Fabianski at this point, to be honest.
Areola pretty much plays all Europe for them, and he's a terrific goalkeeper by his own trades. I think Fabianski's getting close to the end of his career, and Areola is going to assume that number one shirt at West Ham sooner than later.
Yeah. I think, West Ham are in a void from FPL perspective. They have us, then Norwich, then City, then Brighton, but they have no doubles remaining. So I agree with you, especially with their focus on
it's solely on Europa.
On Europa, that they're in a void for FPL. Chelsea are interesting. Obviously, a lot of people like myself brought in a lot of Chelsea assets this week, hoping to cash in on some points for their double this week. Mostly, I would say, is a failure unless you brought in Alonso. If you brought in Alonso, great job. He was definitely somebody that if I didn't already have Reece James, I would have been considering for this week. So They still have a double remaining, and that's in 36. The thing we need to realize is that we don't know. I think it's going to be heavy rotation for them, especially with everything going on in the club, and their league spot is pretty much solidified. They don't have a whole lot to play for. I think they should have smacked up United today.
They should have. They should have bagged 4 or 5,
and we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah,
but it doesn't seem like the clinical desire is there for them at the moment. I think if you're going for Chelsea players for double and 36, I don't think any of their defenders are safe other than maybe Silva. I would say probably plays both games.
Christensen, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think Alonso's pretty locked.
Yeah, I would say Alonso's locked unless
Alonso's
I did
locked.
see pictures of Ben Chilwell in training, but I doubt they bring him back.
They're not going to afford him. If they're going to save him, they're going to save him for the FA Cup final. Alonso will play the league. He's been doing really well.
Yeah, so I mean their double in 36 is Wolves at home and Leeds away.
It's really good.
So
it's really good.
With Wolves in their terrible form and Leeds not performing very well either, I think Alonso might be that guy for that game week, honestly.
I think he might be.
They could keep a clean sheet in either of those games, and he's so attacking. I like that as a punt. I really do. I probably won't go for it,
but
just because I already have Reece James, and I don't want to do the hokey cokey between swapping James out for Alonso, and I certainly don't want them both. So yeah, I might miss out on a big haul there, but I think he's a good go-to. I really do. I think that might be the pick. If I were going for one of the midfielders, well, let me ask you this. Who would you go for over the midfielders between Mason Mount and Kai? You would?
Havertz. I watched the game today. He should have had a hat trick. He's the one that's getting the attacking positions. Mount's being asked to drop much deeper. Havertz is playing basically as a striker alongside Timo. And yes, Havertz gets subbed more for Lukaku. I don't know why. Lukaku's done nothing to warrant his minutes this year at all, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But I'm still sticking with Kai. I know he didn't convert. We both captained him this week, and all he got was an assist, right?
Yeah. I think I slightly lean towards Mount for the rest of the season over Kai. And that's because of 1, minutes. 2, he does have the hauls in him. We've seen, Mason Mount has double-digit game weeks that Kai has over this season.
Yeah.
And we'll look at more in depth later, possibly. Yeah. But Mason Mount does have the holes in him. He is on set pieces on the corners, so easy assist potential. He should have had an assist tonight for a Reece James goal. Reece James hit the post. And he's always involved, and he stays on the full 90. I do slightly favor Mount over Kai Havertz, but I think they're both viable. I have them both right now, so I will only keep one of them, if not sell them both. So if I'm gonna keep one of them, I slightly am probably gonna lean towards Mason Mount, just because of that. But I think it's very close. It's very close. And like you said, Kai should have had way more attacking returns tonight than he did.
Yeah.
But that's my issue with him, is he never seems to capitalize on the opportunity that he's given. He just doesn't have those double digit hauls in him for the most part of the season. I think he has maybe 2.
Yeah.
And Mount has like 3 or 4 mega hauls.
He got one this week, but he was on a double game week, so it's tough. But yeah.
Well, technically he didn't get
he got it because we captained him, so yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a double digit haul.
Yeah. Yeah. He got like, what, 8? Yeah. 8.
Yeah, he got 8. But Mount has like 2 or 3 20-plus game weeks. So I think the ceiling is there for Mount as well. So that's my thing.
Mount thrives against the bottom of the table opposition. It's weird, but he does.
Yeah.
He just thrives. He thrives. And then he has ridiculous stats for the year. It's like, okay, well, 90% of his goals came against Norwich and Watford.
Right.
But
okay, anyways, moving on. Liverpool 2, Everton 0 in the derby.
Yeah, another game that could have been a lot more than it was. Kind of we mentioned with the Chelsea against United game, this game could have been a lot more than 2. Everton just sat back, tried to hit the counter. Could have had a penalty. Lampard were really unhappy with that.
They should have had a penalty on Gordon. The second one, not the first one. The first one he
dove. But the second one, he's the boy who cried wolf, right?
Yeah.
You cry wolf and everyone goes and checks, and then they don't believe you, and then the time it actually happens, no one believes you.
Yeah.
So they could have had one, but Liverpool were far and away the better team this entire game. They just took a while to get the ball in the net.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Liverpool legend Divock Origi again scoring against Everton. He seems to do it every time. I know he's leaving at the end of the season, and I think he's going to AC Milan, but I think he'd be a terrific signing for like 70% of Premier League teams, to be honest.
Yeah.
Everton are a complete avoid. There's nothing to even talk
I
about there.
disagree completely. I think
You want Gordon?
I think they're absolutely FPL relevant.
You want Gordon?
They have a double in 36 and 37. Yes, I think Gordon is probably the best asset to have if you're bench boosting. By far.
Maybe.
By far.
I'll consider it, but like I just don't trust Everton at all. I don't trust Frank Lampard at all.
Well, I think it boils down to pretty much two players that are relevant from them, and that's Gordon number 1 and Richarlison number 2 because he's on penalties. And he has 2 weeks ago he had a brace off of two penalties.
Yeah.
So I think they are relevant purely because they have a double in 36 and 37, and they're fighting for their lives. So obviously they're going to be giving it their all. They're going to be one of the few teams that are absolutely giving it their all in the league for the rest of the season. They play Chelsea at home next week, so you probably aren't bringing them in this upcoming week in 35, but they have a double in 36 and 37 that consists of Leicester away, Watford away in 36, and then Brentford at home, Palace at home in 37. So 2 home matches in 37. I think that's free hit territory in 37. Certainly,
yeah.
and
then they close out with us away.
Yeah, they close out with us away. So I think they are FPL relevant in 36 and 37. Outside of that, not so much. So
they're just such an interesting team. They beat Man United and then they just look terrible every other week. Every other week they look terrible.
I'm not gonna sit here and argue that they're a good team and have great form right now because they don't. But I do think. This is the type of stuff that you look for in FPL towards the end of the season is that you do invest in like the teams that are fighting for their lives in relegation battles because they're going to be giving it their all and they will have cheap assets in FPL. Hence, Anthony Gordon. I think he's, like I just said, I think he's the best cheap midfielder for a bench boost. Like I said, Nketiah is the best cheap forward for a bench boost.
I
think Gordon's the best cheap midfielder. I think it's between him and Jacob Ramsey, who also has a double in 36 and 37, but I would lean towards Gordon just because he's more attacking. Liverpool, obviously, also really FPL relevant. I think pretty much everybody's tripled up on him, tripled up on them. If you're not,
you should be.
You probably, they're
going to be giving it their all.
They have Newcastle away this week, which isn't the easiest fixture.
It's not easy at all.
However, their double is Spurs at home and then Villa away. I think a lot of people will be obviously on Salah captain for 36 just because he has a double. I probably won't be because I just need to go differential, but yeah, that could easily end my season. Who knows?
Yeah.
36 will make or break my season regardless, most likely. But Robbo getting me the goal, I really appreciated that. I needed that boost for sure.
Yeah,
15-pointer. That was his biggest haul of the season.
Yeah, he crushed it.
Salah got the assist. Luis Diaz got the assist. I think it's tough. I think there's a lot of risk reward in if you were to pick one of Luis Diaz or Jota for the rest of the season and get the right one.
Yeah.
Because it's a toss-up between the two who's going to start or who's going to get the points, but one of them is scoring in pretty much every game.
Yeah.
And Luis Diaz is a bit more expensive than Jota. Or actually, no. I think Jota is a bit more expensive than Luis Diaz.
I think Jota's more expensive than Diaz. But either way, also Liverpool, another team, they won their Champions League semifinal against Villarreal 2-0. Yeah. They now have to go to Villarreal for the second leg. I don't think it's going to be easy for them. I don't think they're going to be troubled that much. I think they'll get through, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game by any means at Villarreal with that support. But another heavy rotation risk team right now because they're competing. Well, they're competing on all 4 fronts. They have the League Cup. They're in the FA Cup final. They're 1 point off of the Premier League, and they're in the semifinals of UCL.
Quadruple is on the table still.
It fully is. Yeah. It fully is. It's kind of in Man City's hands, but it fully is.
Yeah. Luis Diaz, for clarification, is 7.9. Jota is 8.3.
Yeah,
But
so
I
bit of a
think,
difference.
like I said, and Mane has been on great form as well recently.
Scored again in the Champions
All
League.
of their attack has been on form. Honestly, Salah's probably arguably the least in form out of all of them. But we all know
Even
that
then, but
in
even
any
then,
game,
he
any
can just
game he
pop
can
off.
pop off. So Liverpool triple up fully on for the rest of the season. And I think there's high risk, high reward between the two of Luis Diaz and Jota if you're looking for a cheeky punt for the rest of the season. I like it. Moving on, we have Leeds 0, Palace 0.
I'm not taking many assets from either of these teams right now, personally.
I think Leeds are off the table for the rest of the season. So I agree with you. They don't have any doubles. No, I'm wrong on that.
They have one,
They have
don't
a
they?
double left in 36.
Yeah,
So
with
their
us.
double is Arsenal and Chelsea.
away. It's Arsenal away.
Arsenal away and Chelsea at home.
Yikes.
Palace have a double in 37 of Villa away and Everton away. Now,
That's not bad.
neither of those games are super easy, but Zaha has looked good recently, so I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
He's a cheeky punt. Olsey is another one that if you really want to punt, if he's healthy and if you think he's going to start.
You mean Elise?
Elise, Olsey, something,
Elise?
yeah.
Michael
Elise, yeah. He could be one that you could punt on if he's starting, if he's getting minutes.
He hasn't been starting as of recently, I don't think.
I know, but if he does get one in the rotation, he's a very tidy player. I rate him highly.
Yeah. I think their forwards pretty much at this point are an avoid. If you brought in Mateta, that's unfortunate. I mean, he did start this game, but it looks like he's still a rotation risk.
Yeah.
So I would be wanting to trade him out for an Nketiah, to be honest.
I don't blame you for that.
Same price.
He's locked. I think Nketiah is locked.
Leeds. What do you think about
avoid? Their double is at
answer this question. If you had Rafinha right now, if you already had him, would you sell?
Yes.
So you'd sell him ahead of the double?
Yeah, because their double's against Arsenal and Chelsea.
Okay.
If one of those games was against a bottom half of the table team, absolutely not. But you're going to two of the better defenses in the league at their stadium. Let's not forget Arsenal smacked up Leeds at their place, 4-1 or 4-0?
Yeah.
Something. Arsenal are getting healthier other than the left back position, and Thomas Partey is looking to come back around then. So, and Tomiyasu's back now at right back. I think he'll start at West Ham.
Yeah, he should. He should do.
So, yeah, we'll see if that puts Cedric to left back. That's another interesting one for Arsenal is the Cedric story. But
yeah, I agree. All right, let's move into this game so I can complain.
Just hours ago. Go ahead, complain. I'll let you take over.
I mean, I just don't understand how Havertz came out of that game with only an assist. He missed 3 big chances in the first half. A header, a
clean through
on goal, and another opportunity. So more like 2 big chances and another opportunity. But he should, at the very least, in this game, came out with 1 goal plus the assist. And the assist was off of a Reece James cross into the box, and he just headed it over, and that's when Alonso scored.
He was just flicking it on, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just frustrating. I think Reece James owners are also unlucky in this game because he could have easily had an assist or 2, almost a goal. Yeah. When he's in that right wing back spot,
he's deadly.
He's one of the best FPL assets in the game. So I'm hoping for the rest of the season, Tuchel keeps him out there instead of that nonsense where he was playing him at right center back for a little bit and having
against Arsenal.
Aspi on the right wing back.
Yeah.
But
to be fair, Aspi did score against us in that position.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But I think it's obvious that James is
better. Yeah, and Aspi's a better center back than him as well.
Yeah,
I don't think that's debatable.
I already said earlier, I think Alonso is a good pick for the rest of the season. I think he's a hold if you have him. I wouldn't be transferring him out, especially for that double of Leeds and Wolves in 36. That looks like a prime Alonso week. I think it's obviously also a prime Reece James week. I would just think that Reece James probably misses out on one of those games. But even if he plays one, he has the potential for a mega haul. So I'm very back and forth on whether I'm going to get rid of him or not.
Yeah.
He has been disappointing since I brought him in, other than that 1 week that he got an 18-pointer and I captained him. All the other game weeks he's blanked or gotten a 0. So he is the definition of high risk, high reward. It's literally like a 20-pointer or 0 points. Like there's like no in between with Reece.
No, there isn't. And then the one goal United scored today, like to wipe out even the clean sheet points for Reece James or any Chelsea defender owners.
Yeah.
It was just so against the run of play. Like Chelsea had just scored, and then like you look up and Matic flicks the ball over and Ronaldo just smashes it. Yeah. But like I can't remember another shot they even had on target that game. Genuinely, they had 6 shots all game, and I think that was the only one on target. I could be wrong. They could have had more on target, but they didn't generate a thing. Chelsea had 21 shots. Yeah. United had 6.
Yeah, and I think United are obviously in a void for the rest of the season for FPL.
Yeah, 3 games left.
A couple of weeks ago was when you needed to bring in Ronaldo, which I should have freaking done.
It happens.
But yeah, I think if you have Ronaldo at this point, you're probably selling for either a cheaper striker or going back to Kane. So nothing to talk about there. Chelsea assets, we kind of already hashed it out a bit. It's between Mount and Kai in the midfield. And I think Alonso is probably the best defensive pick with the highest upside for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Reece James, I'm not going to tell you to keep or sell because I don't know what I'm doing with him yet. I think he obviously always in any game can pop off. It's just more so the minutes. If you told me he was going to start every game for the rest of the season, I would obviously
he's in
hold.
Your team. Yeah.
The only worry is,
if they try to rest him, the FA Cup final coming up, they don't want to lose it in 2 finals for Liverpool. He's obviously their first choice. What do they do?
Exactly.
So yeah,
I think if you were going for a different defender other than Alonso, I would say the best one's probably Thiago Silva.
Yeah, I agree. With Rudiger leaving and Christensen leaving, they might get rotated. Sarr simply isn't good. He got benched against Arsenal at halftime. He was terrible.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay. Well, that about wraps it up. Ben, you want to bring up your team from last week?
Yeah, I'll bring up my team real quick.
Quick.
Continue and share. So here's my team last week. It says I ended on 64. Ait-Nouri did not play against Burnley, which means Weghorst will come in. I get a cheeky extra 5 points right there. Not mad at that. So really 69 for the week. Nice. Ramsdale, I mean, I think he should get credit for the penalty save personally. Yeah. But whatever.
Diving the wrong way.
Well, I mean, he'd put him off. So, Bruno's a Portuguese fraud and our Portuguese player scored. So
true.
And he conceded the penalty, to be fair.
Yeah, he did.
Robertson smashed it. Obviously, the yellow card and the Watford goal wiped that. He didn't play. Captain Havertz didn't go as well as I had hoped. He should have scored.
I mean, he still outscored Salah for the week, so that's
he positive. He did. So technically, right? You get 2 more points than Salah would have gotten if I captained him there. Barnes came on as a sub, but then he didn't play again in the midweek, so I think I'm going to hold him this week. Salah, I'm not getting rid of any of my Liverpool assets. They're staying for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think those are the best 3 to own. Probably.
This whole quadrant is not changing for the rest of the season. Saka's an absolute star boy. Nketiah is really good bench fodder. Livramento is out for the year. So what I'm planning on doing is getting rid of him. I have a little bit of coin in the bank. And then Laporte right there at 6-0 is very tempting. Cash at 5-2 is very tempting.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I'm really leaning towards Alonso, actually, now that I think about it. Because, hello, can I see the fixtures? Thank you. Everton away, Wolves at home, and then it's just so good, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're just so good.
I mean, yeah, if he gets the minutes, he's fantastic value.
And Chilwell out, so I think I might do that, save the 0.9, and then later get rid of him, get rid of potentially Tony or Weghorst, and then bring in or maybe even Barnes, honestly.
Well, Ait-Nouri as well. You gotta think about you're building towards your bench boost in 36.
I know, yeah, that's the thing. So I can restore Barnes, and I can get rid of these 2, and then I could.
Because if you get rid of those 2, then you potentially have 15 double game weekers for your bench boost.
Exactly, yeah. I can go grab Gordon, and then I can have 6 million, and I can even.
There's your Cancelo right there.
Well, no, there's my Laporte, brother.
That's what I meant, Laporte.
Yeah, I'm about to say Cancelo's already here. But yeah, so I can have
You have the exact money in the bank to do that right now. Yeah. You better pray. Gordon's going to rise in price over the next couple of games. I'm going to tell you that much. You're going to miss out on this.
Should I just take it right now and cost myself 8 points? Genuinely.
It might be worth
Like, I have the money for it, and I can start, and I can bench Barnes this week, no problem, because he's coming off of Europe. And I can start these three, and maybe I could start all three of these up top. I could start Gordon, I could start Barnes, I could bench Tony, I could bench Weghorst. Like,
I'm not gonna advocate for the minus.
Yeah, they play
8.
Watford. They play Watford away. Like, that's a really good matchup. What about Brentford? Who do they play this week? Man United at home or away?
The ideal scenario. Okay. I'll tell you what the ideal scenario is.
I'm so tempted just to take 8 points off the board.
Wait, let me pull this up. I'm pulling this up in the middle of the pod.
Yeah, no, but this is so tempting because this would be perfect for game week 36. I just ride 35 somehow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you'll be fine for 35 with that team anyways.
Yeah, with just Alonso and not with Gordon and
the ideal scenario is you bring in one of those 3 this week, and then you take a -4 next week for the other 2. So
yeah,
that would be
which one's gonna rise? Alonso's gonna rise.
So
Alonso's gonna rise.
Right now, Alonso is close to rising in price tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look up the others.
Anthony. I'm about to just take a -8.
Gordon is nowhere close to a price rise right now.
And Laporte
is also nowhere close to a price rise right now. So if you bring in Alonso right now, then in theory you should be able to take the -4 next week to bring in the other 2 ahead of your bench boost.
I mean, I'm going to bring in Alonso tonight. That was locked. But having the exact amount of money to go get Gordon and Laporte right now, knowing that could change. Because I've seen that app. I know the app you're on about. And I've seen it have there was somewhere nothing had Sun rising, and then out of nowhere Sun had like a
that's very rare though. That is very rare.
I know it doesn't happen, but I've seen it happen. But
it wouldn't be the end of the world. You could get
because I did have a good week this week. I was well above average too. Yeah. But I mean, let me see if I go to let me just go to Gordon was 4.6. Let me go to midfielders, not defenders. Defenders. That's why. There we go. Midfielders between 4.8. So Gordon's 4.6.
Yeah.
There's just really nothing in this that matches that, is there?
No, I'm just saying I think you could get a different option than Laporte and still be fine on your bench boost.
Yeah, potentially. If I go to defenders.
You could bring in Matty Cash instead of Laporte, who has a double-double, and you'd be fine. So I don't think you panic, take the -8.
Honestly, this guy is so I don't have the room, but his points recently, a tip, has been 8, 6, 1, 7, 7, 12, 0, 12. Like, he's been consistently smashing.
Bro, you want to talk about consistent? Go pull up Robertson's
I
returns.
have him, bro. I know.
Pull up his returns.
Oh, I know, dude. I was looking at it before we got on the pod.
Unreal.
Yeah, 15-6 didn't, or that was the 2-2, 6, 12, 6, 6, 6, 3, 7, 6.
Didn't play that 0. Didn't play that Norwich
didn't
game.
play that 0 against Norwich because, they don't need him. But
so if out of the last 12 games, he's gotten a return.
So I'm going to bring in Alonso. That's my one free transfer right now. So I'll make that. Yeah, I'll bring that in for this week, and I'll bench ads, and I'll probably bench Tony against United. And let Weghorst play against Watford and Ketia play against West Ham. Because fun fact, Arsenal have scored the most away goals in the Prem at West Ham. They've scored 45. They scored 45 against one other team in the Prem. Trivia for you. Do you know who it is?
I don't know who it is.
Everton. It's Everton. But we have scored our most joint away Premier League goals at West Ham than any team in the Premier League history. So if I don't get the room for Laporte, then we're looking at a cash, and I have a little bit of room to flex more money.
You'd be fine. It's not the end of the world if you don't get Laporte.
I'm gonna make the transfer for Alonso. So let me just confirm that, and then we can switch you right. You are gonna go right here. You get that.
You're captaining Saka this week?
There's a chance. There's a strong chance. That could change, but that's like a very strong possibility, bro. He's so good. So good. You say that, but he's on penalties too. He's smashing it. Look at
he's doing good, but I still wouldn't captain him this week.
I mean, Salah at Newcastle is the easy one. Havertz at Everton is a good one. Honestly, Alonso at Everton's not a terrible shout. But I
mean, it looks good for this week. The team looks
I think this looks good, and then I'll replace these two with Gordon and with maybe Laporte maybe not Laporte. Laporte's my first choice.
That will be a baller bench boost. And then you
And
still
then
have
I'll
triple
have all
captain,
of
so
that.
you need to figure out what you're gonna do
Yeah,
with that. But
I know we have double game week 37, and I'll probably look to rotate maybe Havertz to Coutinho or something, and have him come in as a triple captain because
yeah,
I don't want him to be in there.
I like
Maybe
that.
I'll look elsewhere if there's a better double game week in 37. But anyways, I'll stop there. That's my plan. This is my team for the week, obviously.
Yeah, looks
I
good.
like it. If I could have anyone return, it would be this guy right here, preferably. If anyone on my team wants to do anything, please let it be him.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I'm
You've
rocking.
come a long way from
It's
roasting
strong.
Harvey Barnes at the beginning of the season over and over to having him in your
I
team.
did. I did, to be fair. And
Yeah.
still, like, he's done like what he's returned for me like once or twice. But I
Yeah.
like that he didn't start tonight in Europe for Sunday.
Yeah.
I think that works better for me.
I would agree. I think he's fringe first choice, which makes him perfect for the Premier League
The
for the rest of the
rotation,
season.
yeah,
To be
literally,
honest.
it's ideal.
Yeah. Okay, let me bring up my team. I don't know why I'm doing that. There we go. All right. Fantasy. Alrighty. Points. I finished on 71 minus 4 this
Oh,
week.
dang, not bad.
So essentially,
Basically the same as me then, because I got 69.
yeah. Did you take a minus 4 this week?
No,
Okay, so you technically outscored me this week. So yeah, I mean,
I don't think I did. I don't think I did at least.
yeah.
You're right. Yeah, we're
I mean,
roughly the same. Roughly the same this week. Yeah.
Robbo and Saka were the saviors of the week. Kai, captain. I mean, he outscored Mo, which is what I needed him to do. But there was so much more to be had there.
He could have had a field day. He could have had a field day. We both could be feasting right now if he had scored goals.
My God, bro, that
You
variance is
could
killing
really
me.
be feasting if A, Watford didn't score a goal, we'd both rack that up, and B, if James actually returned for you, you could be over 100 easily
Dude,
right
I'm
now.
telling you, from that United game, I could have been absolutely swimming in points.
That back triangle on your right hand side could have easily gotten you. Cancelo could have easily gotten you at least 5 with the yellow card and a clean sheet. James could have easily gotten you like 8. And Havertz could have easily brought you another 12 points if he had just scored minimum. And then add bonus to that as well, too, because he would have gotten it. Same with James.
I'm telling you, bro, it's fine margins. Yeah. Fine margins. It's upsetting for sure. But, we got to move on. We got to take it at face value and do what we do. And, I think it was an okay game week. I'm pretty much setting up the exact same way for next game week. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I'm changing anything.
There's literally nothing.
I could maybe play Ben White because I don't think West Ham have a whole lot in the tank, but it is a home match, so I'm probably just going to keep him as first sub. Broha can rot on my bench forever. That guy's useless.
He's actually been a target for Napoli, I believe.
I mean, he's been a target for everybody, but he isn't performing.
Well, it's relevant because Arsenal want Osimhen, so he might be his replacement is what I've heard.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't want to Chelsea triple up for the rest of the season. I just wanted it for one game week. So
are you going to get rid?
Probably not this game week, just because there's the teams that I'm wanting to target still are in Europe or doing something like that, and I don't think this is the week to be bringing him in. So I'm my thought is that I roll this game week, and then I have 2 going into double game week 36, and I'm happy to even take a -4 to swap out 3 players that game week if I think someone has really high value there.
Yeah.
My thoughts at the moment, my top transfer targets are Phil Foden, Felipe Coutinho, Matty Cash, and Laporte.
Damn. So 2 of the guys I mentioned bringing in as well. Yeah.
Those are probably my top transfer targets for 36 through 37. Now, I don't know how many of those I'll bring in, but I think most likely at least 2 of them of those names will be coming in for me.
That's fair.
Kane's probably going to stick it out for the rest of the season, or at least through 36. I'm just going to keep him because he has a double. Right now, I already have a full team of 11 doublers for 36. So I have, the triple up of Liverpool, the triple up of Arsenal, that's 6. City, that's 7. The triple up of Chelsea, that's 10. And then Kane and Ramsey both have a double that game week as well. So I already have 12, honestly. doublers that I can choose from that game week. So right now it's not really about, I'm not building towards anything because I don't have any chips left. It's really about just trying to make my team the best that it can be for
Maximize
36
it.
and 37.
Maximize what you have. You don't have the bench boost like I have. I still have a triple captain as well. But maximizing the assets that you do have just in double game week seems to be your last chip. If you
exactly. So I mean,
you have to maximize it.
My thought process is that I could maybe even swap out all three of these guys. And that those are just my transfers. It might go from Havertz, Mountain, Ramsey to Foden, Coutinho, and Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
And that just be, what I ride on for the rest of the season, or hopefully something like that. I think I have to kind of go differential on my captaincy options for the rest of the season if I want to hold on to first, because Jake, who's trailing me and not too far behind, has both bench boost and free hit left.
Oh, damn, I had free hit. Damn.
Yeah, so if I were to just basically go with a default captaincy option for the rest of the season, he'd just overtake me by default pretty much. So I have to go a bit differential. That may include the picks that I go with in my team. I may even, I thought about maybe bringing out Kane and
I love that personally.
Upgrading a midfielder to KDB because I don't think anybody else will have him.
Spurs have not had a shot on target in over 200 minutes of football.
I'm not taking that into consideration.
That's just facts. That's literally
so
facts.
That's my thought process for the rest of the season. I think just to highlight chip strategy for those who are thinking about it. If you have,
we've touched on it a lot.
Yeah, if you have bench boost and free hit left, it's very obvious what you're doing. You're bench boosting in 36 and you're free hitting in 37.
Yeah, or I'm triple captaining in 37 if you're like me.
Yeah, if you have triple captain left, you probably, if you only had triple captain left, you would triple captain in 36. But since you have bench boost and triple cap left, you're obviously going to bench boost in 36, triple captain in 37.
Yep.
Plan your game weeks accordingly, guys. I think
we did get one question if you want me to read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this one's from Ryan. Shout out the boy Ryan. We were literally tied on points going into tonight. I believe I jumped you because I captained Kai and you had just Mount. But shout out, great player, great friend. He goes, advice on snagging some City players for their double game week. Worth it to take a -4. Yes, I think we kind of touched on this. I think we talked about the best assets, Laporte, Foden. If you don't have Cancelo, I mean, everyone should have Cancelo at this point. Here's a good one for you. I guess I can take this and kind of twist it. Do you gamble on Jesus at this point still? Do you think the ship has sailed, or do you think because he started at the Champions League as well?
Yeah.
So he's clearly Pep's main center forward right now. Do you trust him in the Premier League still right now, or no?
No.
Okay.
Just because you can't, like, obviously the forwards have been bad this year, so you could say, maybe, screw it, I'm just going to gamble on it. But I think the goal for forwards for the rest of the season should be minutes, and I would rather go Richarlison or Watkins over Jesus for the rest of the season personally. So I would say probably not. I think De Bruyne is the great asset for the rest of the season. I still think he starts. Maybe he misses out on one game for them for the season. For
the double game week, if anything, yeah.
And that would be a dagger because obviously for a double you're wanting them to play both. But I think Foden over any of them is actually probably the best asset to go with for the Prem for the rest of the season for FPL. Cancelo and Laporte, obviously both great options. If you have the money to go for Ederson, you obviously know he's going to play every single game. Most people probably aren't going to go for that, but he is an option. A -4 is tricky. If you are going for a -4, it needs to be for players that you know are going to start. Like Cancelo, like Laporte. So I don't hate a -4 if you're bringing in a nailed-on defender or maybe Foden. But other than that, I wouldn't want to go for it. I wouldn't want to go for a -4 just because it's Pep at the end of the day. So,
anyways, appreciate the question, Ryan. Big Lacazette supporter. Love that. So
y'all are crazy.
Big fan.
Yeah, I think at this point we talk about captaincy option for 35, Ben, and then
do you want to pull up
our player picks? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can do them both at the same time. If you want to pull up the game slate, I can pull it up too. Here, I can pull it up, bro. I got you.
Go ahead.
do that. Let me go back to here. All right, so here we go. Here's your game slate for next week.
Yep, for 35.
No one has a double, do they?
No doubles in
Yeah,
35.
no doubles in 35. So everyone's single game week. Ones that stand out, obviously Liverpool versus Newcastle. Liverpool really good in the early kickoffs. Typically, Man City versus Leeds has a potential to go crazy. Chelsea versus Everton seems a little bit tilted. Those are the ones that stand out to me. Anything else for you?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
I think Spurs versus Leicester. You didn't mention them, did you?
I think that can be a little bit closer than people think, honestly. I hope. Maybe I'm just hopeful, but I think it could be a little closer than people think.
Okay. Give me your top 3 captaincy options for this game week then. In order.
Cancelo,
Mm-hmm.
Salah,
Okay.
probably Coutinho at home to Norwich.
Okay. So you're captaining Cancelo this week. That's what I'm hearing.
No, I'm probably going to captain Saka.
He's your number one captaincy
but
option.
I'm probably going to captain Saka.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I should captain Cancelo. You're right, but Saka's in mad form, and
Okay.
West Ham are going to be depleted, so I think he's definitely on that list as well.
Okay. So you said Cancelo, Salah, and who?
You can look at Coutinho or Saka. Yeah,
Coutinho or Saka.
Coutinho against Norwich at home.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I honestly think this game week there's a lot of options.
There's tons of options.
This is one of the game weeks where you can you can
make or break yourself a little bit. Yeah.
For me, I think top 3 would be Salah.
Yeah. I know you're putting Kane in there.
Son.
Okay.
And then Kane, probably.
Yeah.
Salah, Son, Kane
enough.
would probably be my top 3 options for captaincy. I do like the Cancelo shout. Obviously, a lot of that rides on them keeping the clean sheet.
Of course.
If he is playing in the right back role, he is slightly less attacking, as you mentioned. That I think Pep almost has it designed for left back to push a little bit more forward. So I don't, he still will get forward, but I don't love his attacking options as much when he's playing at right back as he is at left back. I think Coutinho is a shout, but obviously that's risky because Villa have been on terrible form. But yeah, I like the Spurs boys against Leicester because I think they'll heavily rotate, and Spurs obviously need this win desperately. And Salah is Salah.
Yeah.
And honestly, like jokes aside, Saka, I would never captain him this week, but he is on penalties now, and he is going to be playing against a very depleted and rotated West Ham, not only defense but entire team.
Yeah, and they just had a huge knockout fight with Frankfurt, and they go again next Thursday.
Yeah, he was cited in training pictures. So
he's back. He's back.
He's fine.
All the reports are saying he's back, and that him being subbed late against United was purely precautionary.
Yeah.
I mean, the game was decided at that point anyways, so it was 3-1. Shout out Xhaka.
Cool. Okay, well, let's go through our player picks, Ben. You
picked Saka.
You got your lead back.
I did. I had it last week too. I was up 1.
Yeah, I know, but you really got your lead back.
But extended it. Yes.
So you picked Saka back in game week 33. We didn't do 34 pod. We were, I think you were traveling back.
Yeah, I was traveling. Yeah, from California.
So Saka scored 10 that week. I picked Bruno, who was fraud. He's been terrible.
He's been a fraud, bro. He's been a fraud, bro. It wasn't just that week, bro. He's been a fraud.
I had to pick him though because I had already picked Ronaldo early.
Yeah, I know.
Earlier. So he got 3. You are now up 121 to 113. I think you picked first. No, you picked first and you took Saka last week.
Yeah, so you pick first is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I said you pick first. Yeah.
So this is a tough one. Who have I gone with? So I've used Bruno, Son, Saka, Ronaldo, Salah, Kane, Mane, Kai. I used Cancelo one week, but he actually didn't play that week, so I got Diaz instead. So he's still on the books. I've used KDB. Okay. So I've used Kane and Son, so they're off the table. I used Salah, and I've used Mane. I don't really want to risk. This is a tough one. For me. I think I'm going to go... Sorry, I need to think about this.
You're good, bro. You're good.
I'm trying to think of one-off game weeks because I also want to think about who I'm going to pick in 36 and 37, or at least who I would like to pick. So I don't want to pick a team that has a good double in 36 and 37. I'm going to go for Luis Diaz / Jota, whichever one plays.
Starts, yeah.
Yeah.
Or if Diaz comes off the bench, you'll take him, obviously. But if he doesn't play, you have Jota.
Yeah.
Okay. Have I used Cancelo yet? I probably have.
You have, yes.
I might take KDB then. I think I'm going to take KDB. Have I used him yet?
You have not.
I'll take KDB. I'll take KDB against Leeds, and yeah, I'll take KDB.
Okay. All right. So my pick is Luis Diaz /
But if
Jota,
he doesn't,
whichever
if he
one
doesn't
starts.
play at all, it'll be Jota. But yeah, I think that just about does it. Once again, thank you guys for sending in questions. Thank you for watching. We're coming up on the end of the season, so be sure to let us know how your player picks are going in the comments below, or you can tweet at us or find us on Instagram at BorderlineFPL. Same name of the YouTube channel is the same name of our handle over there. Once again, we don't have TikTok. We say that every week. We don't have Snapchat for the account. Yeah, I think that's about it. If you have player picks, let us know. Am I missing anything?
No, not really. I do want to reiterate, I know all season I kind of talked about how the goal is to get up on Spotify, and I've had a crazy, just crazy year and everything, getting married and stuff. So
haven't we all, brother? Yeah.
But this is my commitment to you 100% that next season we will be up on Spotify.
Make it easier for y'all.
There will be an audio version, and depending on my time, obviously this is a passion of mine that I really enjoy. I did like making the YouTube videos. I'm not going to say I'm going to commit to doing that. I obviously want Ben to continue next year if he's enjoying this. But that's up to him, obviously, long term. But next year, there will be a version of this somehow on Spotify. So stay tuned for that. And we obviously appreciate your support on Twitter and on YouTube and everything like that. So with that being said, that pretty much wraps it up for me. Ben, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace, y'all. Thank you.